Hi, welcome back to Sports Madness. This is part 3 of 4. I'm Hiram Vaughn, your host for the day. We're going to talk a little bit of Major League Baseball right now. Obviously, the big story in the league right now, the fight between Rougned Odor of the Texas Rangers and Jose Bautista of the Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors, listen to me, wow. The Toronto Blue Jays. Got to get basketball off the brain now. We're on a different sport. I get both sides of this here. And I understand where the commissioner's coming from. I think the commissioner dropped the ball in a big way on this one, and I'll get into that here just momentarily. For those of you unfamiliar, the Toronto Blue Jays, got it this time, and the Rangers played in the playoffs last year. Jose Bautista hit a monster home run in a pivotal moment, and he did he broke one of the unwritten Cardinal rules. He stood there first, he hit the ball, just kind of admired it, and then he took the ball and did like a blatant bat flip in the direction of the pitcher, and then took his time going around the bases as he got there. You had to know that the Rangers were going to respond. Why they waited until the last game when they were going to see him was beyond me. The pitcher, Hill pegged him. He did. Bautista was not happy about it. He took his base. My thing is, if you're going to react to it, do so right there. In that situation. If you're the Texas Rangers, if you're going to get the guy back, get it the next time that he comes up. Either that or earhole the next batter. One of the two. But you don't wait 7 games to get the guy back. It's done by that point. It's done. It's over with. But it wasn't done. It wasn't over with. They hit him. Bautista takes his base, goes to second on a grounder, comes charging in hard, goes for a hard slide. Rougned Odor was covering second, went to throw the first to get the double play. Bautista comes sliding in. He started his slide really late, and he came in spikes up and near his waist and slid well past second base. The intent was obviously to injure. Well, then Bautista gets up and gets in Odor's face, clenches his fist like he's going to take him out, and Odor beats him to it and landed one of the cleanest punches I've ever seen in any sport, including MMA, boxing. This thing. He just clean to the jaw right there. It was solid. Glasses went one way, helmet went the other, and Odor was buckled, but he didn't go down. Bautista was buckled, but he didn't go down at all. I will give that to Bautista right there. He took that punch, and he stayed on his feet. He probably didn't know where he was for a little bit, but he took the punch. He stayed on his feet. But anyway, Rougned Odor of the Rangers was suspended 8 games for the punch. Bautista was suspended 1 game for his actions in the fight. Apparently, getting hit in the face warrants a game suspension. I don't know where they got that from. Commissioner Manfred's office had a chance to lay down the law right here, and he, to use a baseball pun, swung and missed. He whiffed completely on this. First of all, for Odor, I think Bautista's a total jerk, and 8 games for punching him is totally worth it if you're Rougned Odor. It should have been 15 games. It should have been. There is no place, no reason, no excuse for it. There is no place for that. Excuse me. Cherry Pepsi, nothing added to it. Just that's ice. See, there's nothing tricky in here. But you can't do that. No matter what, you cannot do that. Baseball, above all other sports, bills itself as a family game. You cannot react that way. No matter how much you want to, you cannot react that way. You just can't do it. It should have been 15 games. Should have been. Having said that, Adore will be back in the lineup next week. So, and boy, the next time that Toronto and Texas meet, it's going to be fun. There'll be some fireworks. Bautista should have gotten at least 3 games. And here's why. I don't think he should have gotten suspended for his role in the fight. He didn't do anything but get hit in the fight. He slid. He got up like he was going to do something, but he just mouthed. He did not actually throw the punch. People are like, yeah, well, he clenched his fist like he was going to. If you're Odor, you've got to let him. You're more important to your team on the field than he is if he's suspended. If you get suspended too, then neither team gains an advantage from this. And you're just mad and a really good puncher. But I don't think Bautista should have gotten suspended for his role in the fight. All he did was get hit. And he mouthed. Okay, people mouth all the time. Ejected out of the game, sure. Throw him out of the game? Yeah, absolutely. Because he was confrontational. Absolutely, kick him out of the game. But you can't suspend him for that. He didn't do anything physically. The 3-game suspension should have come on the slide. It was a direct violation of the slide rule that came into effect because of what happened to Buster Posey. Remember when they came in high and hard on him, shattered his ankle, he was done for the year. So they changed the rule for sliders. They also changed the rule on catchers because of that. That was a big pivotal thing. You can't do the whole Pete Rose thing anymore where you just launch yourself into the catcher. You can't do that. You can't slide in like that anymore. Hard slides to break up a double play, that's fine. I have no problem with that. It's baseball, it's part of the game. And guess what? Spiking will always be part of the game. Getting pitched inside and getting hit will always be part of the game. And as long as there are hotheads playing the game, there will always be fights in the game. It's not nearly as bad now as it was in the late 80s where, man, there was a fight every other game. Man, baseball was worse than hockey for the fights back about 25 years ago. It was awful. Commissioner Manfred, though, he dropped the ball on this one big time. Bautista was not suspended for the suspendable offense. He was suspended for something he didn't do. And Odor was not suspended enough for what he did do. And one thing that I was glad to see with the suspension, I was talking to a friend of mine. He does sports talk radio out in the Metroplex, the Dallas Metroplex. And we were talking, he and some friends of his and I were talking, and I kind of figured that Odor would have a lengthened suspension because of what he did, because this is not a first offense for Odor. It's a first offense in the majors, but he did something in the minors. But, you can't really take into account what someone did when they were in the minor leagues once they're in the majors. But it can be in your subconscious, and you can't, it's like telling someone to unlearn something. You can't unknow that he did this in the past. So I was thinking that maybe that would be taken into account in the suspension. Should it have been? Absolutely not. Was it? No. And I was glad to see that. I don't think he was nearly hard enough on the suspendable part of the offense, though. I'm not, and I like the Rangers. Those of you who don't know me really, I'm a one-team guy for basketball. I'm a two-team guy in every other sport, pretty much. For basketball, I'm a Spurs guy. I grew up in South Texas around the Spurs. I've covered them. I worked for them when I worked for ESPN San Antonio. I covered them. I wrote for Project Spurs in San Antonio. I've been around it most of my life. I've been around the Spurs. In baseball, American League, Rangers, always has been. National League, Cubs, always has been. And let me tell you, it's been a hard life as a Cubs fan. Let me tell you. In football, I'm a Houston Texans fan. I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan. In hockey, I like the Dallas Stars. I like the Phoenix Coyotes. I don't really know why. I don't know why. I just, I remember when Nikolai Khabibulin was their goalie there in Phoenix. I just kind of gravitated toward them, and I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure why. I like hockey in general, though, and I'm not so into hockey like a lot of hockey fans that I can't stand certain teams. There aren't really any teams that I'm just like, I hate you. I like hockey for hockey. In college sports, I'm a big Oklahoma State fan. Big Brigham Young University fan. I like them because they do things the right way. Their honor code is just as strict as the service academies, and they uphold it. And people give them so much garbage for upholding and honoring that honor code. You know what? They're a private institution. They have this really strict honor code, and they don't care who you are. You're going to abide by it. Remember, a few years ago, they suspended Brandon Davies off the basketball team for a violation that at any other school wouldn't have even been not a violation at all. It wouldn't even be a rules violation anywhere else, but it was a violation of the honor code. He was kicked off the team knowing that they had a chance to win the national championship. They said, no, we're not going to do it. And they lost in the second round of the tournament. I applaud schools that are willing to put character ahead of content, which is why I really have no use for SEC schools at all. Do I admire the product that they have on the field? Absolutely. They're tremendous. I won't root for any SEC school just because the sport is more important than the character across the board. It's just the way I am. Now, getting back to the thing at hand. I'm a Rangers guy, so it kind of pains me a little bit to say, Odor should have been suspended for 15 games. He only got 8. Wah. I'm not being a crybaby on this. He should have gotten suspended for 15 games. He should have. And I think it was a missed opportunity for the commissioner to really kind of drive the point home. Bautista, 3 games should have happened. He got 1, and it was 1 for the wrong thing. If you're going to suspend him for that, you can't suspend him for that. He didn't do anything. Unless getting hit is now a suspendable offense, that's the only thing that he did. That's suspendable. You can't suspend someone for yelling at a player. You can't suspend someone for getting in someone's face. He didn't initiate contact. I guess he did initiate contact, but again, he initiated the contact on the slide, not in the fight. So I've, disappointed with the commissioner on that one. It is what it is. We're going to take one final break. When we come back, we'll have a final segment. Here we're going to talk NHL playoffs. We may, if we've got time in that last segment, we may go ahead and talk about. My nose is itching. We may talk about the World Cup qualifier. U.S. men's team in some real trouble right now. All the excitement about the U.S. men's soccer team, they may not qualify for the World Cup. So, if we've got time, we'll address that as well. That's it for part 3 of this. Part 4 will be here of Sports Madness here in just a moment.